Greetings, YouTube. Today we're going to talk about Sports Night. Um, this is a three-time Emmy Award-winning series. It's got a three discs. Oh, volume 3? That's weird. I guess I don't have the right disc with. Oh, I guess I grabbed the last season. Sorry, I thought I had the first one. But this is a series that had a complete run, and it finished up in the year 2000. And from the title, you can tell it is about sports, specifically a sports show. And I will admit one thing. First off, it ended with an ending, which is awesome. I love when a series actually gets to close itself and wrap up the loose ends. That's always nice. I'd never heard of this series at all before, and it was suggested to me by Adam Savage. Somebody had asked him a question about, like, what was a television series or that you liked that maybe people didn't know about, and he mentioned Sports Night. And he said that within the first 2 or 3 episodes, he was hooked on the people. He was really drawn into the story. So I thought, okay, on his recommendation, I have a lot of faith in Adam. I really enjoyed his book. I watched his videos. I enjoyed his television series when it was on. So I'm like, okay, I trust the dude, so I'll pick up the series. And I did. Picked it up pretty cheap, actually. Got it off of Amazon secondary market. And I got to say, it makes me question a smidge about Adam Savage's views on television series. I mean, it's not bad, 44 episodes, so, it's not a huge series. I didn't invest a whole lot. I did watch all the way through because there were aspects about it that I enjoyed enough to keep going. But this was done in the last couple of years of the 20th century, and yet it was an all-white cast. Well, all the main characters were white. There were a couple of support characters that weren't. Well, there was one black. The guy who owns the place was black. Okay, I'll give him that. But like all the young people and like the dynamic, who's dating who, and the all that stuff, all white, all liberal New Yorkers, a very particular East Coast liberal view of the world. I won't go so far as to call them progressive because I don't really think they would meet my definition. And the writing wasn't bad. The acting was okay. It's just that as the series went on, I just tended to like the characters less and less and less because so many of their problems were generated by themselves. Yes, I know. Drama drives a story. That's the theory. That without drama, you don't have stories. I don't really agree with that. I think you can have stories without this particular kind of drama where people just won't use their words and communicate their desires and things. So that was kind of annoying. It was a little annoying in the fact that they actually addressed the fact that the people in the show didn't know who their support staff were. And when they did the episode about that, they actually named people that were doing this show as a sign of solidarity. Awesome. And yet, in the last couple of episodes, one of the characters says thanks a woman for being his secretary all along because he thinks he's going to be leaving the series, the television series Sports Night, and she's like, "I've never been your secretary." So it's like, didn't you just do an episode like in the first season where you talked about becoming better people and knowing who your support staff is and maybe not pretending just because that woman works near you, she's your secretary? Yeah, there's some sexism in here. There is nothing but straight people. There are no gay people whatsoever. And that's a little weird. I mean, the last few years of the 20th century, and we couldn't have any gay people. Not even like support people, not even like the background characters, like the guys in the booth or the women, helping with the, nothing. No, everybody was straight. I just wasn't impressed by it. Now, that's not everything was bad. It wasn't all bad. There was some snappy banter here and there, and thank the gods, Clark Gregg was in the last few episodes, and nobody delivers snappy banter like Clark Gregg. I love that man to death. And he does this Clark Gable Cary Grant style banter really well. And he just has this pattern to his voice that I just eat up. And he does that kind of thing really well. And though he did have mutton chops, it was kind of funny. Um, and so there were elements that I really liked. And in fact, these two people were quite entertaining, probably in some ways the least annoying people in the entire series. And she's adorable. And and this particular actress is actually from the Sliders series. That's where I'd seen her. I'm looking at her face going, I know her. I know her. Then I looked it up. Hey, she was in Sliders because I actually enjoyed that series. Um, so I can't tell you to go out and watch this. If you like sports and you kind of like, you know, comedy, romantic kind of things, and they're going to sort of touch on serious issues. They do touch on like addiction. They talk about mental health, and sometimes they handle these things pretty good, and sometimes they don't handle these things pretty good. They address racism, but again, a very much East Coast liberal white version of how racism should be dealt with, and not necessarily listening to the community that are affected by racism. Like I said, it's a particular variety of East Coast liberalism that maybe isn't as aware as they think they are. Um, so I can't say it's horrible either, but if you are into sports and you want to see something which has got some kind of a bantery kind of vibe to it, go for it. Now, one thing that baffled me is one of the awards they won was for cinematography, and some of these episodes looked like 1980s Canadian productions. They they didn't look good. They didn't look well polished. They just didn't. And I'm like, you won awards for this? I don't quite grasp how you won awards for that. It was a little baffling to see that everyone was looking very cheap in many ways. But maybe they had different standards at the end of the 20th century than we have now. But yeah, I don't necessarily think that this thing was award winning in the least. That maybe it was a slow year those times. I'm not sure. But yeah, sports night. It's not bad. It's not necessarily good. Um, and if you like some of the actors in it, go for it. Like I said, unfortunately, Clark Gregg is only in the last few episodes of the series, but his presence really did help, for me at least, wrap it up and keep me interested all the way to the end, because he is a really good actor. Absolutely loved him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I have to do a review of. And he's one of the reasons I made my way all the way through that series as well. So, Sports Night, it's a television series. Adam Savage suggested it. I question his taste a little bit now. Maybe his memories of the show were better than the show itself. We've all done that now, haven't we? Our memories of something being better than the actual thing itself. But yeah, give it a try if you want. I'm not going to say you shouldn't, but I'm not necessarily going to say you should run out and get it either.